Hey guys, welcome. It's Brian, and I have another horror movie review because it's October the 9th today. And I feel like it's a little early to talk about this movie because it is a really good movie. It's a good horror film, and if you've not seen it, you gotta watch it. The only reason why I chose this today is because I don't own a lot of horror movies, and out of all the ones I do own, I felt like this is, out of the ones I have left to talk about, the one that had to be talked about earlier. Just the rest of my horror movies that I do have, I like more, and some of which I just don't own, and that's why I'm not talking about them right now. And when I get my paycheck, I'll probably buy them and talk about them. But as of right now, I'm talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven died recently. I want to say 2 months ago, and unfortunate because he did make some great movies. He also made some bad ones. He made a lot of good ones though. It's funny because there are Craven made some of the best horror movies, and he made some of the worst, in my opinion. He made more worse to me. He made a movie called People Under the Stairs. I just did not like that movie. I did not take it seriously. And then he made serious movies like The Last House on the Left, which I just did not like at all. I thought it wasn't that it was dark, I just thought it was not really the greatest movie. He made My Soul to Take. I thought that was wasn't god awful, but it was kind of a bad remake of Scream in a way. And then he also made some corny movies which are fun. If you've never seen Shocker, it's a bad movie, but it's worth owning just to put on in front of your friends because it's funny. It's hilarious. But to me, Craven has only had two big home run successes. Unlike Scorsese, who I can talk about all day and night, how he's made 5, 6, 7 great movies, and I like them all. Craven, to me, only came out with two, I'm not going to say two movies, but two film franchises, which really were solid, and A Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the two. I think it's probably his most famous, if I had to say. And then there's Scream. I'll talk about Scream closer to Halloween. I like Scream a little bit more, but I still like A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, here's what I have to say about this movie. I love this first movie. The first movie is the only good one. I bought like 2 4-packs with all 8 films on DVD at the time when I first was watching them. Hey, the first movie I loved, and I loved it so much that I bought the other 4-pack before I even watched the other sequels. And then I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and I thought, oh god, this was pretty bad. Then I watched 3, I wasn't really impressed. And let's just keep saying that for some odd reason, I kept watching them as bad as they were. And then I watched Freddy vs. Jason, which is a fun movie, not a good movie. So they all sucked for me. A Nightmare on Elm Street, though, the first one I thought was really good. I don't think it's a scary movie. I just think it's a good movie. It's kind of interesting because Johnny Depp, it's like his first film, and he's in it. It's kind of cool. I like this movie because it's different. If you don't know this story, I'm a little surprised, but this story is about this guy who was known for taking children, and I forget whether he raped children or he murdered them or tortured them, but basically he did something bad with children. I think he raped them or something. And so there was this legend that, the parents came after this guy and basically burned him, and that's why Freddy Krueger has a charred face, and he's always trying to get revenge. This is a strange film because Freddy Krueger, I don't remember how they introduce him, but he appears in your dreams, and he tries to make you scream, and if you get scared for some reason, you die. You die in the dream, which makes you die in real life. It's really... You just have to watch it, because the theory behind the whole thing, and I haven't watched it in a while. I'm going to watch it the week of Halloween. This is a film I'd recommend. Watch it the week of Halloween. I feel like I'm reviewing this a little early, because I do think this is one of the greats. And I've had nothing else to talk about. I already talked about my other smaller horror movies, Pet Sematary, Misery. I talked about Alien, which is a big movie, just not I wouldn't say horror movie-wise it's better, but movie-wise it's better. And this movie is really good. I like this movie. It introduced a lot of supernatural stuff for the first time in film, and because of films like Halloween, which is one of the greatest movies ever made, and possibly in my top 5 greatest films of all time, this movie wouldn't have existed for Halloween, just like Halloween wouldn't have existed without Psycho. I think this is Craven's second, or it's kind of hard for me because sometimes I'm in the mood to watch this or Scream, but I still think this is what he's best known for. I think this is one of his greatest movies of all time. And I wouldn't say this is scary, but I think it's such a cool idea. For the time when it came out, this is going to seem a little bold, but I view this movie like it was the inception for 84 it came out or something like that. Because the idea is so original and different. I read that Wes Craven had the idea for this movie just solely based on nightmares he had, and that's how he got the idea. It's a really good movie. It's definitely worth a watch. I do want to have a segment on the show where I talk about good and bad remakes. I hate remakes, but there are some really good ones out there. And most remakes are horror remakes. This movie was remade. Luckily, none of the other previous movies I reviewed have remakes, but let's see. Halloween has a remake. Psycho has a remake. Poltergeist got a remake. Almost anything. Just about, except for like The Exorcist and stuff. The reason why I didn't review Friday the 13th. First off, I don't own it. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's, I'm just gonna say this. For you, Jason fans out there, I like Freddy Krueger better. The movie's better. To me, Friday the 13th was a good movie, not a great movie, unlike Nightmare on Elm Street, which I would consider a great horror movie. And the sequels for Friday the 13th, I think, are better than the sequels for A Nightmare. But overall, I would say the first movie compared to the first Friday, I think the first Nightmare is way better. So yeah. But on a scale of 1 to 10... what would I rate A Nightmare on Elm Street? I'm giving it a 9, 9.5. I really like Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a great movie. I love it. I have to watch it the week of Halloween. The last week in October's majority of my horror watching goes towards I was going to review The Shining, but then I thought, no, The Shining's it's one to talk about closer to Halloween. I think it's a better horror movie. I also think it might be just as good as a movie, if not better. So yeah, if you guys are wondering when these horror movies reviews will end, they will end at the end of October. I'm going to keep trying to make more. Again, I want to buy some more, that way I can talk about some more. I want to talk about the Hills Have Eyes remake, the Texas Chainsaw remake. I talk about the original Texas, but I talked about it briefly in a video before. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoy your day, and thanks for watching.